With breaking news, 3 people have died after a boat capsized in Halifax County Sunday morning. The Virginia Department of Wildlife Resources says 3 people were fishing in a 14-foot aluminum boat on Bannister Lake when the driver maneuvered the boat sharply, causing the back of the boat to sink and throw the 3 people into the water. 20-year-old Zacharick Carter of Virgilina, 30-year-old Dre Tucker of Halifax, and 22-year-old Elijah Tucker of Indian Trail, North Carolina, all died at the scene. Officials say none of the victims were wearing a life jacket. The incident is still under investigation. 13 people